Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is a quick update of where have I been. I was actually up in here working on my lab and actually getting ready to move out of this house at the same time. And I just decided to let everybody know that I'm still alive. I know I made a post in April, I think, and it's already in July, and I haven't been saying much. So people seem to like lab videos, so I think this is pretty quick and easy to do. Um, Most of this is the lab I used to pass CCNP voice. I've actually added a few things, borrowed a few things since then. But I'll just give a pretty quick idea of what I have and what you need and what you really don't need. At the top there's an ASA, which you obviously don't need for CCNP voice. Below is a console server, once again a nice to have. Frame relay at 3725. Nice to have. You don't really need. I have three 2801 routers down there with vid cards and VWIC cards that you need obviously for your PRI and for a T1 connection. You can get by with two of those. You really don't need three unless you're going to the CCIe track. Below I have two 3550 PoE switches. One of them functions as a core switch as well. Definitely nice to have those. It makes powering your phones much easier. Below is just my server. I run Call Manager 8, Call Manager 7, and I run Call. That's top secret. Can't let that cat out the bag yet. Above me, that's a 2821. That's functioning as a PSTN router. You do not need anything that fancy. That's a 2821. You don't need nothing that fancy when you're going for either exam track. Below that is the voice router that I actually use, PSTN router that I actually use to pass my CCNP voice. That is a 2651, and it actually had a module in there for, actually had a module in there with I used to have a two-port VWIC that was my PSTN simulator. It's up in 3725 right now. I actually do not know why. I don't know where that project. I don't even know my thinking behind that. But nonetheless, below is another 3550 that will be becoming the core switch. And below there is a 2921 with a VWIC 3 in there. I actually don't have many plans for that at the moment. But it's something that's nice to have as the future. Obviously, the 28 series it's on its way out. Above, there are several IP phones, and I actually have several IP phones on my desk. This is just a place where I keep everything. Some key things that I see people when they're going for voice, they IM me on sites or PM me on sites or IM me or get in contact with me somehow. When you're having old serial cards like this, these are what most people buy when they're doing a CCNA. CCNP track, which is fine, but keep in mind that these ports only can do 64K, so you're gonna have some choppy voice. So you will need to get the CSU DSU cards that can do a full T1. Now keep in mind, be very, very careful because you need the V2s if you're going to have the 28 series. If you're going to buy the older ones, which you can get dirt cheap. I bought these a year ago. I got all three of the older ones for like $2. And I already had 3725 when I was in the CCNP track, so definitely keep that in mind. That's a common mistake I see people making, and then they can only pump 64K across a line. And with the headers and everything, sometimes even one call is choppy, so definitely keep that in mind. Not much other than that going on. I did run into a very interesting situation with a customer, and I will be making a lab on that with end-to-end RSVP between two call processing nodes. Before, you couldn't do end-to-end RSVP unless all were on the same system. So now you can do end-to-end, and I'm seeing this pop up a lot with customers who have sites in one big metropolitan area where bandwidth is relatively affordable, and then they might have a manufacturing plant in an area where bandwidth is not affordable, and so they may only have a couple of T's to a remote site, but that remote site is very important to that operation, and they can run into some problems when they want to do voice and video over those connections. So I've actually run into that problem like 2 times, so I'm definitely going to be getting a lab together for that, and also some of my friends have also asked me about that. other than that, everything's been going good. Thanks for the people that reminded me that I haven't been making blog posts, and that's where I was at. Thank you so much for your support, and I will definitely try to be more active with my blog posts. I'm sorry, I'm just pointing this at the ground. It's just that, as you can see, I'm actually in the process of moving, so my place is relatively messy. You can see how my wife's crap is everywhere. So once again, thanks everybody, and I will promise that at the minimum, if I'm not doing a blog post where I'm writing, I will have some video posts where I can just talk and we can get things done. Thank you.